DataApp's Supplier Prepayment system enables you to record prepayments to suppliers for goods or services before they are received and regardless of whether the supplier has provided an invoice. Depending on the arrangement with your supplier, this may be a prepayment in full or a partial prepayment. Depending on how the system is configured, you can be prompted to post a prepayment when a purchase order is created or after a supplier invoice has been registered. Prepayments can also be posted manually, either with or without a link to a purchase order or registered invoice. The actual payment can be optionally processed immediately. When the supplier's invoice is then captured or the registered invoice approved, you can be prompted to match the invoice to the prepayment, ensuring that suppliers are not inadvertently overpaid. A detailed query facilitates control of the prepayments control account and visibility of prepayments made to your suppliers. There are a number of setup options available with this system, but instead of going through them separately, I will discuss them during the course of the demonstration as they arise. In this example, our supplier requires a 50% prepayment before they will deliver our goods, so I'm first going to create the purchase order, but to save time I'm going to copy an existing purchase order for a foreign currency supplier. As soon as I copy the purchase order, I am automatically prompted to capture a prepayment because I have configured the setup options to do this. I can choose not to add the prepayment, but you can set an option that will force the prepayment. You can also set up filters so that you are only prompted to create a prepayment for certain suppliers or currencies, for example. I'm going to go ahead and create the prepayment. Because I'm creating a prepayment for my purchase order, these details are automatically completed. One thing to note is the prepayment branch. This controls the prepayment control account to which the transaction will be posted. All prepayments can be posted to a single control account, or alternatively, cross-references can be set up, linking different currencies or supplier branches to different prepayment control accounts. I can process the payment immediately because I've configured the product to do this. The default selections here are governed by these preferences. As per the agreement with our supplier, I'm going to process payment for 50% of the purchase order value, in this case $22,405, at today's exchange rate, and I'm going to process the payment immediately. The payment is now complete, and the prepayment invoice that's been generated is shown here. The numbering can be manual or automatic, with or without a prefix. Both the creation of the prepayment invoice and the processing of the payment can be controlled via normal CISPRO group security, operator security, and via electronic signatures. If I call up the prepayments query, I can filter it directly on our supplier, which is full, and see both the prepayment invoice and the associated payment. By default, this is shown in the local currency, but it is possible to show it in the foreign currency by selecting this option. We've now received the goods and the supplier's invoice, so I have receipted the purchase order and I'm capturing the invoice, this time for the full amount and at today's exchange rate, which is now 1.43. I'm going to match the GRN. And as soon as I post the invoice, I'm prompted to match the invoice to the prepayment. Again, this is controlled via a setup option, so is optional, but it is a good way of preventing the supplier being overpaid, as could happen if the matching were done at a later time. I have only processed a single prepayment against this purchase order, but if I had posted more, I would be able to select which to apply to this invoice here. You can enter any references and then post the transaction. At this point, the prepayment value is transferred from the prepayments control account to the appropriate AP control account. The journal can be printed directly from the recap screen, and these recap totals are shown in the local currency. As you can see, we have an exchange rate variance because the prepayment invoice was generated at a different exchange rate to the supplier's invoice. If I call up Supplier Supplier Query, you will see that the invoice balance correctly reflects the prepayment amount, and the prepayment invoice itself is now complete. When calling up the prepayments query, again I can look at the prepayment invoice and both of the transactions we've now processed against it. As I've demonstrated, this query can be filtered by supplier, or if you have multiple prepayment branches, by branch. When you filter the query, the summary pane here reflects the totals for the filtered information. So if you want to see the value of your prepayments company-wide, then you would need to select all suppliers. You can filter the query by double-clicking or via the options pull-down. Multimedia and notes may be added against prepayment invoices, and they can also be matched to supplier invoices directly from this query. This can be achieved using these buttons or from the right click. Prepayment invoices can be selectively included in this list view via the options pull-down or using the right click. These panes provide more information about the highlighted prepayment invoice. When implementing DataWrap's AP prepayment system, there is a take-home program available that will take your current negative balance invoices and transfer them to DataWrap's AP prepayment system, and at the same time transfer them from the suppliers branch to the prepayments branch. This product comes bundled with online help and a reference guide that can be downloaded from our support site. The AP prepayment system is available for SysPro 6.0, SP1 and later. We offer a free 7-day trial to potential customers who would like to see the product working on their own data. Please contact us for more information on our free trial, as well as our various licensing options. I hope this demonstration has been informative. Thank you for watching.